So a lot of times people ask us when they're closing their pool for the winter on an above ground pool, you know, what should I do? To just, you know, obviously unplug it. Looks like that. So you can just temporarily plug it with an expansion plug. You can remove the clamp. And you just remove the piping, or the filter hose, more correctly, call it a filter hose. And take the filter hose inside. So once the water's below the skimmer, we'll take the skimmer plug out because we don't want it to stay in all winter. Then here, you can just reduce this clamp. In this case here, you had a union, so you could have split the union if you wanted to. You can just loosen the clamp, take everything inside, or you could have just loosened the valve, wiggle it off, and you're all set. Either way works. And just for safety, there is drain plugs on the pump, obviously. One here, you can just tip it over. Make sure it's empty, and the above ground pump should definitely be put inside. And on this particular pump, we only had one drain plug in the side and one drain plug in the bottom. And that'll go inside for the winter. The sand filter itself, you know, you like to see it go inside. I usually just put it in the middle, the valve in the middle. We loosen the drain cap and we let it drain. If you wanted to, each year you should change your filter sand. You could just remove, using a Phillips screwdriver, the two screws, and use a wet dry vac. Once you take the clamp off, the multi-port would come off. Then you could use a wet dry vac, suck the sand out with a wet dry vac, or simply shovel it out. If you like, you can certainly leave it outside, but again, we recommend that it goes in the home. Okay? And lastly, if it was to stay outside, you would simply take out the sight glass and you would try to take out the pressure gauge. You got an 1.5 inch threaded plug. We'll just thread it right in. So our return is now plugged. And just be careful if you use a screwdriver, you gently slide it in between, quarter turn to snug it up. Hose, right, and clamp it, the water will stop at the skimmer, right? And then when we're done, so now we just take this plug out and the water is going to drain to the skimmer. And when the water is done draining in the skimmer, you could leave it for a couple hours, simply come home and then disconnect this. And make sure that there's nothing connected to the skimmer all winter.